Mr. Humavindu?
Yes, madam.
We are going to start right now.
Okay.
Can I have a countdown, please? Welcome back. We now focus on the National Youth Development Fund. With the pilot phase underway and some misinformation causing concern, the Ministry of Finance is reassuring young people that the process is about testing and learning to strengthen youth empowerment initiatives. Now joining us to set the record straight is Executive Director in the Ministry of Finance, Mr. Michael Humavindu. Sir, good evening and thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting us. Allow me to wish our nation a reflective Heroes Day tomorrow.
Now, the ministry clarified that the pilot phase is not meant to deplete resources, but can you explain how these funds are being safeguarded to ensure sustainability beyond September 2025?
The National Youth Fund is a financial mechanism that is meant to ensure sustainability. In order for us to ensure sustainability, it has three legs. The first leg is the normal window in which we provide funding for concessionary loans, and that is 50 cents out of every $1. Then out of every $1, 35 cents is going to what we call a preservation capital underlying fund, which will be managed by the Central Bank of Namibia. Then the 15 cents out of every $1 is what we will ensure that we support grants, ecosystem development, mentoring, coaching, and business plans development. So the fund itself is actually a financing mechanism not meant to exhaust available resources every year, but rather to invest it within those three legs that I've just outlined.
Mm-hmm. Now, submissions are currently routed through regional governors' offices. What measures have been put in place to ensure, transparency and fairness during this pilot phase?
It's very interesting because at the normal the applications they register to the Ministry of Finance, and then after the Ministry of Finance will obviously then work with the collaboratively open finance institutions. And in terms of the actual outreach and awareness, we have really seen very, very good proactiveness from our regional governors. And we really appreciate that. We want to say thank you to the regional governors because they are all out there. We've seen how the regional Commerce regional governor has even introduced new measures of communications and awareness raising. But we should also not forget constituency councillors across the various country constituencies that are actually also going out there organizing awareness workshops, and we are also very much appreciative of that.
Now, after the pilot phase, Mr. Humavindu, the applications go directly to the DBN and the EIF as well as Agribank. Talk to us about how this transition will impact accessibility for the young entrepreneurs, especially those in the rural areas.
After the pilot phase, we will take the lessons learned and ensure that we then normalize the funding request through these development finance institutions. We will also ensure that we develop a marketing and communication and visibility awareness strategy. You will actually notice that we will issue a national competition in which the youth will then be able to define that communication awareness visibility strategy. And that will also help us from the lessons that we'll pick up from the pilot phase, how we ensure that especially the youth that are in far deeper flung areas are able to be made aware, supported, especially through that third leg, the 15% component of the normal three-leg of the fund.
The ministry also mentioned that special windows will be rolled out at intervals. Can you perhaps expand on what types of sectors or initiatives might benefit from these targeted opportunities?
This also emanates from the pilot phase. Our conversations and our engagement with the regional governors also indicated certain regions really need additional support. So it can also be regional initiatives just to ensure that we really reach out to the youth that are perhaps a little bit more affected than other regions that are normally very good in terms of optimizing of these opportunities. Even when we were at the National Youth Council seminar with 250 youth representatives, it was very clear that certain regional outlets such as Tsumkwe, far-flung areas in the deeper mountains of Kunene, you probably need special initiatives to really reach out to those youth that are there, that are entrepreneurial, and support them with a much firmer hand-holding. But there can also be financial intermediaries or regional youth groups that are very good in reaching out to them. And that 15% component really is the one that will be very innovative in ensuring that we do that. But there are also sectoral issues that we need to ensure that perhaps certain sectors need special initiatives. Let's look at traditional agricultural food processing. We know that there is a lot of youth in that space, that perhaps certain components around labeling, manufacturing of getting to the right standards, as well as even maybe aspects around how to package these products so that they are able to get some hold on the food shelves of the retailers. That's really where perhaps some of these special initiatives will be developed from. But it will come from the youth as initiatives, and we will also ensure that we support such as regional initiatives that our engagement with the governors have actually directed us to.
One thing of concern has been the misinformation that's been circulating around the pilot phase, Mr. Humavindu. What steps are being taken to improve, communication and ensure that the youth have the accurate information?
Thank you. The miscommunication is regrettable, but if we really hone down onto it, it was just because perhaps in some regions, the actual submission date to, say, a regional governor's office was different from the actual one. But that was also because, as I mentioned earlier, one key explanation there was for, whereas some of the regional leadership really felt like, let us move a little bit the deadline a bit forward so that we are able then to assess for ourselves what is the quality of our submissions and then try to help those submissions before we eventually then submit it to the Ministry of Finance as per the actual deadline. So when you look at it from that perspective, that was not an issue that was supposed to be misconstrued as misinformation, but it was rather those special initiatives, special regions that might need a different approach to ensure that we are able then to submit and receive submissions that are a little bit more able to get a foot in a lending window as opposed to a misinformation classification. I hope that really clarify that. And we actually are very appreciative of the regional governors that really have been going out to try to ensure that they can support the youth applications in this process.
Mr. Humavindu, we appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Daily Roundup.
The ministry appreciate being invited to the NPC. We also want to say thank you for inviting us, and we wish all the youth applicants a very, very good Heroes Day tomorrow to recall and reflect on what the heroes did, and that we now need to ensure that we can attain economic freedom. Thank you.
Thank you so much.